All right, I'd like to call the Town of Cedar Lake Unsafe Building Department meeting for July 17th, 2024 to order at 5:30 p.m. If you'd all please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Beal?
Here.
Ms. Dessauer? Present. Mr. Field?
Here.
Mr. Deutmeyer?
Here.
Mr. Oshman is absent. Mr. Bunky is absent. Mr. Gatto?
Here.
Ms. Hyduk is present.
Thank you. All right, first thing on the agenda is the minutes from May 15th, 2024. I know we all had them emailed to us. Did we have any questions about them, or?
No questions. I'm ready for a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 15th, 2024.
Second. All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes from Heather Dessauer and a second from Jeff Beal. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Motion carries 3-0. Moving on to the first active unsafe item number 1, 7105 West 128th Avenue, Cagnina. So after the last meeting, we're understanding that this, he was going to be selling it, and we did the title. Was that right?
Yep. Title exam has been ordered, and we have a proposed order of demolition prepared. Just for the board's knowledge, if you enter it, the order of demo applies to both Cagnina properties because the title equipment sort of lumped everything together on one.
Okay.
That's not a problem, right?
No. Everything, all the notices will still be sent, all the requirements of the statute are still met with the legal description, the identity of anyone that has a substantial interest in the property, so.
And so that will be available to any potential buyer then, that they'll notice it on the title search with the title company, or no?
Yes and no, right? We have to do 2 orders, right? This one, which then requires Mr. Cagnina, you know, pursuant to the statute, we have to give them due process, 30 days to demo the property, which presumably won't be done based on everything he told us. So that the next meeting would be a affirmation order that would be entered. Once the affirmation order is entered, then that could be recorded, and that would then be picked up in the chain of title.
But regardless, that if we issue the order, if it changes hands, does that carry with the property, whether it's on title
Well, he's
or not?
required under the statute to inform potential buyers of
Right.
these issues.
But for us, it wouldn't matter.
How so?
If he weren't to notify someone, which we've seen happen multiple times,
Correct.
that still carries with the property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all these issues are going to continue to move on. The whole idea behind this one and the other, well, I guess these 4 tonight, was we wanted to get something, the process moving so we could get the orders entered and then recorded, so they get caught up to prevent some of those issues that could occur.
And so once those orders are in place, and then since we just had this ordinance passed, I was reviewing through some of it pertaining to some of the issues that we currently have going on. And the transfer of property by persons, the 367927, after we do the order that we're doing now, then that takes place with the must within 5 days after transferring agree or transfer substantial property interest.
Yeah, they have requirements under the statute. Now, how you enforce that is a completely different story, right? If Luigi or anybody else didn't tell the new buyer that they had transferred it, or didn't tell the new buyer of these proceedings, and, you know, how do we go after them? That's a little bit more of a stickier situation. But once we get the orders recorded, then that's kind of our protection mechanism. So whether they tell them or not, as long as they're closing at a title company, the title company's going to pick it up.
Okay. Thank you. So do we want to handle both of these at the same time then with this?
I would still do the order or the motions separately, but just know that the demolition order is combined for the 2 parcels.
Okay. So it'll be the same motion for both.
Correct.
You ready, or?
So we need to make a motion to,
enter the order of demolition.
and then in 30 days,
We would
we
affirm
can
it.
act on it.
And once it's affirmed, we could have Tony sign off on it, what is it, August 21st, and have it recorded August 22nd.
So make a motion to order,
Enter the order of
enter the
demo.
order of
Correct.
demolition. Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item number 2, 7109 West 128th Avenue, Cagnina, same scenario.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to issue the order of demo.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to enter the order of demo by Ms. Dessauer, second by Mr. Beal. Roll call vote.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item number 3, 7500 West 129th Lane, Barkowitz. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please.
Bart Barshwich, 7500 West 129th Lane, Cedar Lake. Yeah. For the property, that is.
Yeah. Okay, so Tony did submit this to us just before the meeting with the scope of work. Are you planning on then coming in and getting the permit for this stuff, or what's
I
your...
dropped the permit off today. I dropped the application of the permit.
That is, you did drop it off today, okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's talking to you and Mr. Parker.
Yes, yes.
And you're asking for 5 months for the permit?
I would probably not faster than that, but that's like the longest. I mean, is that anything? I mean, I wasn't planning on it, like I said before. I know you guys said in the last meeting that all this could waste of time, but it's also a waste of time for me because I bought a house that was on an unsafe building list that no one knew about. And even the previous owner was never even notified about it either, so that's really probably why I didn't put enough priority on it.
Now, are you still, I know you mentioned potentially selling it. Are you still going that route, or
Yes,
what's?
I'm still going that route. The permit's gonna carry with it. The prospective buyer is aware of everything.
Okay,
They have the report, they have everything. Gibson basically just dumped it. because they
Okay.
don't wanna deal with it.
and I did speak with Chief Fisher today on some of your concerns that you brought to mine and Greg's attention.
For the tickets?
As far as the citations for the weeds and stuff?
Yes, I mean, citations for the weeds,
Uh,
those are in the public road. I got cited for that, that's one. Two, across the street from me, there's Mr. Kubik's brother's properties. Nobody ever fucking cites him, pardon my French, but that looks like crap. There's garbage there, there's all kinds of stuff there.
Well, I did, like I said, I did have a meeting with Chief Fisher today on that, and so we're looking into the fact that it is technically not a road, you know, and if you ask one person, you know, if you go through code enforcement, they feel that it's part of the property, and then I ask another department and it's not. And so right now, we are looking into it, because there are other situations just as this.
Yeah, but just to stop you there for 1 second, this being not part of the property, when we were trying to build a house there, we had to apply for a variance because it's not part of the property, it belongs to the town, so
Yeah.
someone really needs to.
That's where we're trying to get a very firm understanding of what actually that's
There's
being.
sewer lines out, there's a sewer that runs through it, so it's definitely not.
And similar with the east-west road on the south side of this property, same scenario.
Yeah, I mean, technically, the east-west road is the front of the property that I own.
Correct.
I can't even get into the front,
So-
I can't even drive up there, so.
So the chief is aware about the citations from the code enforcement, and like I said, we had a discussion today. We don't have an answer for you today on that, but we are
Yeah.
nevertheless looking into it. It's tough when you go on GIS. Heather, I know you probably look a lot on GIS. Things don't line up, you know, when you're looking at an overlay of a map and stuff like that on where property lines match up and stuff like that. However,
I mean, I
if
can tell you, I was actually on GIS earlier,
Yeah.
because I just wanted to confirm, in case you asked about this, that the properties that are across from my other properties those do belong to Mr.
Yeah.
Kubik's brother. I confirmed that, and the lines are perfectly clear right there.
Yeah, well, I just know that there's some discrepancies on the interpretation that I got today. And so that's what they're looking into, just so you know, with those citations. That's what we're trying to get figured out. So, any thoughts on?
I mean, to be completely honest, I would have been totally okay issuing you the permit for 180 days, but now that it's changing hands, that makes me feel uncomfortable, that amount of time. If the other person's planning on coming to,
I mean, the other person is, basically take over the permit, wouldn't they?
And that is basically how it goes, right, Ryan? On that, when the transfer of property, all that, any controlling interest of that property, all these orders go along with it, right?
The orders do, but are you talking about the unsafe orders or building permit?
Well, how does that work then with the building permit? So the building permit does
It
not?
can be issued in his name.
Yeah.
So the building permit wouldn't transfer.
They're gonna definitely apply for it because they're gonna redo the whole house.
Yeah, because they'd have to, I mean, because their intentions for the property could be totally different than what yours were.
I mean, they wanna flip it within 30 days, so.
Yeah, maybe you want to completely tear it down and rebuild, you never know.
but issuing him a 180-day permit does nothing, because if he sells it next week, his permit's dead anyways, right? Tony?
The building permit, that's
It wouldn't
correct.
be valid anymore.
So
if he has
issuing a
nothing.
180-day permit doesn't do any good for anyone.
Well, if he's not if it's not going to be his home anymore, then I guess not.
When are you
Yeah.
closing on it?
That's still in the process to figure out that they're doing their due diligence now.
Okay,
So it's not a for sure thing, it's just something, it's a prospective buyer. So it's not a for sure buyer.
okay. What do you guys think about that then?
Well, I did have some conversation with Mr. Barkowitz Saturday afternoon on stuff that I would feel that this board would like to at least see. The grass, you know, the trees that are growing up in the yard, waist high, the tree that is on the shed, some of the stuff that was on the original inspection report with the soffit and stuff like that where animals can get into. And I explained to Mr. Barkowitz, if the grass can get, you know, mowed, the shed can be taken down. So if you came and got a demo permit for the shed, and then taking care of some of the soffit, just to show some type of a progress, because no progress is, you know, how can we make decisions clearly?
Yeah, I mean, that's good, but what about the permit?
So Tony, with this building permit for this scope of work, or statement of work, what part of it becomes just a building permit, and then what's the difference between that and a demo permit on this then? If he were to come in and do the shed, or does that get taken care of under the same thing?
I suppose you could split it up any way you wanted. If he was just demoing the shed, it would just simply be a demo permit. If demoing the shed was part of this permit, then it's just part of this permit. So I'm not quite sure where you're going with it.
Well, my thought is, after our discussion on Saturday, and were you in agreement that, yes, you could tear the shed down?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on it. I mean, that's just additional expenses that I'm incurring for something I bought that I did not know was on the list. And now I'm losing at least 10 grand on trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it's a lose-lose for me, but, I mean, the shed, I'll tear it down.
The stuff that was wrong with the house, so you were gonna fix anyways.
Well, yeah, I was gonna fix it anyway, but I would've never
A
bought the
waste of
house.
time maybe, but either way, the things that need to be repaired were going to get repaired.
Yeah,
I
but
admit that you're wasting your time. I agree with that. But besides that, the house is gonna get fixed either way.
Yeah, the house is not gonna fix it either way, but I don't know, my point is still, I would've never bought it. If I knew it was on the list. I mean, even something like a lien, putting on a lien on the house, if you guys could approve that in the new ordinance, I mean, that would be something that would definitely work, because not having a lien on it, I mean, I missed, what, 4 payments of utilities on that property, and I get a letter that's gonna have a lien put on it from the town, on the title, but you guys can't put a lien on it for unsafe building?
Not until it's demoed.
I mean, should be a lien if it goes on the unsafe building list, I mean, that's something
What are we
that
leaning though?
you could possibly demo it. The house is unsafe, and anyone that, I mean, really, the lien is there to
Well, we would have
to warn the next buyer, or the prospective buyer, or next owner of something being wrong with it, because I mean, if, like I bought it, ended up on the list, I knew nothing about it. And now I'm stuck with it.
And basically, we'd have to do what we just did for Cagnina to get that order put in
correct me if I'm wrong, but no lien can be placed unless you
No, there's no
order.
statutory lien that would allow us to do anything. The only thing we could do is, Rich noted, is with the order, record it. Other than that, the only liens we do are for cost. Because liens are typically for money, right?
Right.
It's not like a warning.
Okay, so regardless, you're asking for a 180-day permit, but you're selling it, or you're hoping to sell it.
I mean, if I can sell it next week, it'll be gone.
So, again,
Can you give me a 30-day, I'm fine with getting a 30-day permit. If you give me a 30-day permit, I'll come to the next meeting, and if I need an extension, I'll get an extension. But I'm still working on it. I'm fine with that.
I don't necessarily want you to waste your time in 30 days either. I was thinking maybe 60 days.
That's fine with me.
If it's for sale and people are interested in it, hopefully by then it gives enough time to at least be under contract and well on the way to a closing. I'm fine with the 60 days.
That's all.
I mean, I'll tell you that if it does sell, it'll be before next meeting. It'll be closed up. So.
Okay, so what, are we just deferring, or are we making?
No, we're gonna be,
I need a permit if I don't.
Yeah, we're gonna
work on it.
he can get the permit, so building department, Mr. Barkowitz already applied for the permit today. So we would instruct the building department to issue the permit.
Okay, and then just defer this for 60 days?
But we would do, well, this would be deferred for 60 days, but we would also put the permit for 60 days. That would be correct, right, Ryan?
Correct.
I'm ready.
I mean, typically you would have
And
the
actually, I have
permit
one more
expire
question,
on the day of that meeting or the day before that meeting.
The day before the meeting.
So I actually, one of the first meetings I missed, which was I was supposed to bring the permit, I emailed Ashley, I need to tell her I won't be here. Then I heard she's no longer here, so I mean, that's one thing that I told someone I would miss the meeting. And then, what do you guys do, so let's say if I do miss a meeting, do I get a letter, do I get a phone call, like, what's the process for that?
Well, we send out notifications for
I got
those
one
that,
notification,
yeah.
and it was 5 days before this meeting.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be more like 30 days, shouldn't there be more?
No, what's
Because I
the
mean,
typical on that? Was it 7 days, I believe, or 10 or 7 days? What normally gets sent out, I believe?
I mean, just like when we want people to appear,
Yes.
there's no statutory requirement. Obviously, we want to give them as much notice as practicable, but it depends upon staff's processing time.
I mean, I got 4 days before today's meeting, because I just picked it up today.
So is it possible to get, well, now the building department has all your contact info, because I think in the past.
No, they know all that, but what I'm saying is for the ordinance itself,
Yeah,
the first one I had to appear for, I got 3-day notice.
Right.
And I did tell them I was not gonna make it because I was going on vacation.
yeah.
Then, one now, I got 5-day notice that I can't appear, but if I want to go in and apply for a variance or anything else, I need to do it.
So do we have
25
your
days
email
before.
address?
Yeah, you do.
We do have it now?
I mean, you've had my email address, my phone number, and everything else for a long time, ever since I started the permanent.
Okay, because I think there was an issue where they couldn't find it, and that's why we were sending out mailers, you know,
I mean, Michelle has my email, Michelle's always had my email in the building department, because I've communicated with her. Tony's on my email for sure, because he was on the communications with the old permits and everything else.
Okay.
So it's,
Because that would be our preferred method of communication for the fact that it gets to you sooner than the mail does.
I agree with that.
You know,
I think Tony's saying he doesn't have your email.
I have it now, I have the bb@bsuite.io.
Yeah, but you wanted the permits from the previous one too.
What was the permit on the previous?
7405 West 129th place, the proposed new construction.
the one right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
for, to go ahead and direct the building department to issue a 60-day permit, and also along with that, a 60-day deferral.
I'll second.
Okay, now, to be clear, would we end this August 20th,
I'm sorry, yeah, the
September.
meeting would be,
the 21st?
that's August, so September would be 9/18.
Oh,
So that,
my bad, I was looking at August, so did you look it up?
I did, so that would expire on 9/17. Is
Okay,
that good, Tony?
Yep, I think it's
okay, we have a motion, get a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, to issue the permit, for the day before the next, meeting in 60 days, in 2 months. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
What if I download the property by that meeting, do I still have to show up, or will I?
Whatever communication you can with us, the better. That way we know at least what's going on, you know.
Like, what's my legal responsibility of, if the property is sold, do I?
To inform the
have to show up?
town who the new buyer is, name, mailing address, contact information.
But is that an ordinance? Is that
It's in
legally
the
an
statute.
ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the statute that I was referring to, Indiana Code 36-7-9-27.
Yep, alright, so I'll do that, and I don't have to show up, right?
Not if you sell it, no.
Alright.
Yeah, just as long as you notify us.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 4, 13947 Hobart Street, Weiss. Mr. Gutmeyer, do we have anything on that?
Yeah, this one's a little bit different. So when we got title back, Weiss owns 2 properties. They're right across the street from one another. One of them is comprised of 17 lots. The other one is comprised of like 4 lots. The larger of the 2 is owned by Willard Weiss, or was until he passed away. The smaller of the 2 was owned by Edna Weiss, who I think was his mom. She's been dead for at least 30 years. The Weisses have opened an estate proceeding in the Lake Superior Court up in Hammond, and they recently filed a petition to sell some of the real estate owned by the estate pursuant to a purchase agreement. I dove into that a little bit. They are selling the smaller piece of property, which is the one that was owned by Edna, which I think eventually flowed to Willard by virtue of everyone's passing. The larger piece was that goofy one that was involved in the litigation with the neighbor, who apparently allegedly had, deeded it to himself, all that stuff. They litigated that for a year before they got the property back in their name. The larger one is the one that is up for tax sale and has been purchased by an entity. So I was trying to piece all this together because I was trying to figure out if they were selling the one that was up for tax sale or not, which they are not. They're only selling the smaller piece. So what we have done is, I didn't know for sure if both houses were unsafe because they both have the same exact address.
Across the street, that one at least looks maintained.
Yeah.
So I would view it as a rental, or, someone's living there, it looks like, or it has always appeared that way at least.
Could be.
So-
But everything, like when we put the address in through Fidelity, it kicks back both parcels.
Oh, really?
So our order applies to both. Now, one of them is up for sale. Don't know
I think they're
when
both
and
up for
if
sale. I believe there's a sign in the
It could be.
front yard of, well, there's a sign in the front yard of each,
Yeah.
but they're actually listed.
one of them, I should say, is a purchaser,
Sure, okay.
whomever that mythical person may be. So that one could potentially close out before we get all this stuff done, and if what you're saying is true, then it doesn't really matter, because that one wasn't really within our scope.
Right.
But they both just kick back on the title equipment. So our order that I prepped has both of those parcels listed, and just kind of the weird information. Now, there's a bunch of people we've listed on the order, because there's a lien for the town. There's obviously the estate proceedings, so we've listed both the attorney and the personal representative there. And that's the one that was sold at tax sale, so we've listed the entity, this Infinite Batteries, Inc., that purchased it along with their attorney.
This was one that was due to come up in September, right? From the tax sale?
Yes, the redemption period expires in September, I think that sounds
So that's why
about right.
we wanted to make sure title was ran and we could issue the
Mhm.
order
Yeah,
before
and we're
then.
notifying the tax sale purchaser of all this as well, so he's going to know
Okay,
before he closes, before he gets his tax deed.
so we're good to proceed as how we were
Correct,
planning originally.
it was just kind of goofy how all this
Yeah.
came about when
Yeah.
I was looking through the estate and saw that they were selling it, and I thought we were gonna get lucky and just be done with this, because the court had entered the order allowing them to sell the property, but it's the one across the street.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But the one that they're going to lose at tax sale is the one that they fought to get back into the estate.
Interesting. Okay.
Definitely interesting.
So at this point, we can go ahead and issue the order for demo.
Correct.
Okay. Can I make a motion?
Yes, please.
All right, I'd like to issue an order for demo on 13947 Hobart Street.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal to issue the order of demo. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Item number 5, 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Bang Shots Bar and Grill, formerly Shane's Bar and Grill.
Hello, good evening, yes.
Hello?
Hi, guys.
Good, name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Joe Lopez, 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Bank Shots Bar and Grill, formerly known as Shane's Bar. Okay, so I'll give you guys an update what's going on. In May, we submitted the development plans to the town engineer. We were waiting for our comments back. We received them, I think, around the 24th of June. We got all our comments back. So we got a list of other things we had to take care of. We had questions about our lighting, our parking, the sidewalks, some drainage issues. And so my engineer's taking care of everything right now. We had to get some soil sampling and all that stuff, so everything's in process. So when we got the comments back, we're working on it right away. So we're just, we're just waiting for, to take care of. We're actually trying to get everything back together for Don, that he asked us for his comments.
So you're not on the meeting for tonight then, right? Would that be at a work session, Heather?
Yeah.
Not next
You
month?
were on the meeting 2 weeks ago, though.
Yes, and I was out of town. I was. But I received the comments back June 24th, and we were working on it. As soon as we got it back, we had to hire another company for soil sampling, so everything. So we are working on it. It's not, we're doing everything we can do, what we got back for the comments.
Is your intention to be at the work session then in August?
Yes, I'll be there, and the engineer's gonna be there with the rest of everything that we need that Don asked for to be completed. We're gonna have it completed by August. I think it's 7th.
Who's your engineer there?
Adam McLean.
You're right, it's the 7th, August 7th.
Yes, and he's gonna be there with me, and he's gonna have everything that Don requested from us. So we're working on it right now.
Okay. Your list, though, is it getting shorter? The list that Don had?
I don't think so. I mean, from what he told me, it's just, some things we addressed, and then he had a couple comments about them, so we had to, he's handling it. So, I mean, we're working on it, we're trying, and then he had more comments for us that weren't originally on the list, and that's what we're working on, some new stuff.
Okay. Historically, for the Plan Commission, if that list is big, there's not going to be an approval. So I'm hoping that list shrinks up before voting time.
Okay, yeah, we should have everything that he wanted for the next meeting.
Okay, good.
We should have everything done.
Okay. Yeah, if you can definitely be at the August 7th meeting.
Yeah, I'll be
because-
there. I apologize, I wasn't at the last one, I was out of town.
Yeah.
It was the holidays, and
No, I understand. It's just this is obviously,
And-
I know you want to be
I
on
watched
as well.
the meeting, and, I mean, we are in talks with Don as much as we can when we have questions stuff. So, I mean, we knew, everything I'm telling you now, he knew then. And at the meeting, I was watching the meeting, and nobody had no comments. I mean, I was hoping maybe he could have said something. He was here. He knows what's going on. We're in talks with him. He didn't say nothing.
We don't normally discuss unless the petitioner's
Okay,
present.
I was just hoping. I mean, I don't want you guys to think that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. I mean.
No, I was super surprised you weren't there.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah, I was
sorry.
myself, that was
Because
in
you've
the
been so
audience.
good about being
I
at the
really
meeting.
apologize, guys. I really don't mean no disrespect. This was with the holidays and the family and being out of
Yeah.
town. It just really caught me off guard.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We definitely we try not to discuss things though if there's no petitioner.
I just wanna make sure
If
I
you don't
just-
come, then why are we talking about it
I
kind of thing?
understand. Okay, I just wanna, I want you guys to know that we are working on everything. We definitely take this very serious.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You've always been really good about it. That's why I was
We
surprised you
want
weren't
this to
there,
move
but.
forward as fast as possible. I mean, whatever we need to do, we're really looking forward to get it done.
So,
I had thought that at the time, Ron, I said at the plan commission, maybe he thought it was at 7 o'clock.
yeah, because he always has been so good about
Yeah.
showing up.
And I was 1,000 miles away, I'm sorry.
So-
Very sorry.
So for now, we need to, if you're going to be at the 8/7 work session, it's my thought that we'd like you back here on 8/21,
Mhm.
Okay.
which
Let's see.
either way, on 8/21, you would come to this meeting and then you would come to the plan commission, hopefully, to vote. That's our voting meeting,
Okay. All right, so on the 20th.
on the 21st, yeah.
Okay.
So you'd come here at 5:30, update us, and then after that, if everything goes well on 8/7, hopefully we'd be voting on your approval.
Okay, and that's the next meeting after that meeting, that day? Or are you saying,
On the 21st, yes. So the August 7th meeting is a Plan Commission work session. The 21st would be the regular scheduled meeting that follows this meeting.
okay, all right, I just want to be clear about that, okay, so that got me a little confused.
So my question to you, Heather, is not to look too far forward at this, but let's say that there were still some things where it was not approved at Plan Commission on August 7th. Is there any way that we communicate with them to not have it on if we know what's going on with Plan Commission?
I'm fine with that. I mean, if he's not gonna come to the 8/21 meeting to be voted on, there's no point in coming here.
So that he would know ahead of time, and then we're, as a board,
So
understanding.
8/7 come to the Plan Commission work session, and if we decide then that we're not gonna be voting on this on 8/21, there's no sense in coming here.
I understand.
So, I guess
Is that a good way to put a motion, Ryan? I mean, I know it sounds confusing, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's effectively subject to what happens in the Plan Commission meeting,
Yes.
right? If something comes up at the 8/7 work session that they wouldn't be able to have done in 14 days, that would require it to be kicked out, then I think he can communicate with the town and just request a deferral.
To the next.
Yeah, to the September.
To the September.
There's no point in dragging them in here
Makes
and say, we didn't get our approval because something happened, you know, and
which we'll know that on 8/7.
Yes.
When you come to the work session, I mean, I'll just kind of remind you, hey, you know what, go ahead and let's ask for a deferral for
Okay.
unsafe. So that our motion is to
30 days. Next
Yes.
meeting, the 21st.
a 30, or I guess a deferral
The next
until
meeting.
the next meeting on 8/21. Should anything happen on 8/7 and we decide that you're not going to be voted on 8/21, we'll just defer you out another meeting to 9/18.
I understand.
That way you're not wasting your time coming here again.
No, I appreciate it.
Is that your motion?
I will take that as your motion.
That's the motion, yes.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
So we'll see you on 8/7, and that meeting starts at 6 o'clock.
That one's at 6?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write that down. Okay, thank you guys, you guys have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you for stating the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah. All right, moving on to item number 6, 9320 West 142nd Avenue, Northwest Indiana Casa LLC, formerly Midland Trust Company, as custodian FBO, Pamela Broadway, account number 1716575. Tony, do you have an update, or do we have somebody here?
Online.
That was the report that I sent you last week.
The
Yeah.
letter,
Yes,
yeah, and pictures.
yes.
All right, who do we have here for this?
Junior Martin.
I'm here online.
Okay, let me get to it. I got it. What number?
You're right, 9320, just scroll down.
Oh, 93, there it is. Okay, I was looking at the wrong thing. All right, name and address for the record, please.
Junior Martin, 2701 West 45th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, 408.
Thank you. All right.
That's what he sent me an email, but Tim hasn't signed it yet.
Yeah.
I assume he saw this too, Tony?
No, that was not, this was for your guys' eyes. I mean, he's been in the home, he knows what's in there.
So you did have a discussion with them after looking at the inspection? No?
This was up to you guys to decide where to go from here.
Where's the engineering report? That's what we got last meeting?
I can get you a copy of it.
That's the one
Did
that
we get
you,
that?
We did receive it.
you felt it was incomplete, Tony, is that?
Yeah, I don't think it covered a majority of the concerns, really. I had it out there when we were out there doing the inspection, and it just doesn't seem like it covers a lot of tabs.
Well, I mean, according to this, it looks pretty clear.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
So, Mr. Martin, our inspectors feel that there's quite a few issues at this property as things were exposed, and also quite a few things that weren't exposed that there's concerns about, to the point of not knowing how this can be reconstructed properly.
I'd say that was a correct statement.
There's lots of Band-Aids, or lipstick on a pig, if you will, that, I mean, I've been in a lot of homes in this town. This is pretty bad. I don't know what was exposed or what was visible when you've been in there, but have you been in there in the past 30 days and seen this?
Yeah.
And you feel that these things are okay?
No, it's like I stated from the very beginning, we bought the home to completely remodel it. I'm not sure what the previous owner did. Obviously, there's a lot of things that were done incorrectly, which is why you had the engineering report, which we did. We knew it was going to be a complete remodel to sell. And we were prepared to do that months ago before we ran into all these issues.
There's a number of structural issues, though, on this, and it looks like, I mean, if you guys are worried about windows and doors and drywall, none of that does any good if
No.
the structure is junk. It's pretty bad.
Right, we're aware.
Okay, so what's your plan on fixing this foundation and the floor joists and the,
Support beams.
I mean, we still work on the property. I mean, I was waiting to hear, if you know, about 2 months now, what the next step was. And we did all the time with, these structures, and that's not an issue. Like I said, we weren't planning on using the house to condition that, I was aware that there were issues when we purchased the property. I was just looking to test that you guys have to be go through.
with all due respect, sir, no report should be necessary. You should just be able to look and see the issues here, the major structural issues. I don't think waiting on a report.
Right, I'm aware, I guess, right, I'm aware of that, so, but as I said in the very beginning, I mean, I would be prepared to act, because it could have worked 6 months ago. You guys will be full of permits, you guys stopped us and told us that we needed to do the structural report and pull the demo permit to do that. I mean, that's why we did it, not because I didn't know.
I guess the concern,
I mean, this property, I pretty much lost any profit on the make on this property, because of all these hurdles. I mean, it cost me, tons of money every month just sitting there. So it's not like, I don't know how to proceed. I'm trying to do the stuff that you guys are asking me to do because I don't have any other choice.
Mr. Martin, if I may,
Yeah.
something that concerns me is that the work that was done after you bought the house, and you didn't realize that it was on this list. When I stopped by there and realized that work was being done, the neighbor across the street said, I wondered when you were gonna stop by, they've been whacking away at this thing for 5 days. So the work that was done in there was just put on top of and inside of this structure that needs massive repairs. So it looked as if these things were just gonna be covered up and we were gonna move on with it. That's a major issue I've got.
I'm sorry, I missed the last thing that said.
That's the major issue that I've got here, is the integrity of the work done here inside this structure that's not very viable.
Yeah, I mean, nothing had been unsecured at all. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. In a fully electrical permit, not the first one, but you do the electrician, and again, all that was positive. I was unaware of this meeting, until the permit was not approved.
All right, I'm gonna save us some time here. According to our building department, the engineer report that you provided does not appear to be complete or accurate. There's major concern regarding the structure and mechanical systems in the house, and it's suggested that a competent licensed contractor is tasked with either exposing all remaining framing and providing a very detailed and extensive repair plan, or that the house is demoed, deconstructed down to the foundation. That's what our building department is directing. So what is your proposal?
I guess I need to be zoning. I wish I would have done a form set for the meeting, to see how I need to proceed.
Again, sir, I'm surprised that you're reacting this way, because there's holes in the house that show me, who, granted, I've been through 1,000 homes, that there's major structural issues. So I'm surprised that you're surprised by
Yes,
that.
I'm very aware. Excuse me, I'm very aware of this. I'm acting this way because of the communication that I received. And the communication has been terrible, it's been dragging on for months. Like I said, very first time on a meeting I came, that we were ready to fix the house the correct way, as I do on every property that I've ever done, and get this off of my plate and off of your plate. And it's been over 6 months since that time. And so that is my frustration. I'm very aware of what the house needs, and no one has tried to cover anything up. So I need to be with Tony so we can be on the same page and figure out how to proceed in person, I'm guessing.
I didn't understand what you said, the last part. What was that?
I thought I guess I should be with Tony in person so you'll be on the same page and know exactly how we need to proceed. So this doesn't bring up any longer than it already has.
We're gonna need a general contractor to get us something that we can go by, so that we can have this meeting and have a discussion on the repairs, rather than just look at it and say, okay, now I need to get a general contractor.
Was the engineering report, you're saying it was not complete or accurate? So there were some things on there, but after you walking through it, you didn't feel as if...
I don't feel that it covered all of the structure, if you will. Like some of the things that we were seeing there with beams that were unsupported, or center blocks laying in the mud that are supports for the beams.
With shims.
With shims, a lot.
So again, in our building department is saying that your engineering report is not accurate or complete, and that they're suggesting that a competent licensed general contractor is either going to expose the remaining framing, provide us with a detailed plan, or the latter option, which is to demo the house, which I know you don't want to do. So it looks to me like we need a accurate engineering report and
We don't necessarily need the engineering report, we just need
a
a
licensed
general
general
contractor
contractor?
who knows what they're doing, who's going to expose the rest of what's there. Because there's been a lot of, and this is not to Mr. Martin, there's been a lot of stuff that's been covered up over the years it's just not right, it's not safe, it can't remain that way. We can't turn our backs now that we know it's there.
are you able to get a contractor there to do a detailed repair plan and come to the next meeting?
Can we do it prior to the next meeting?
Can what?
Are we able to do it prior to the next meeting?
Are you asking to meet with the building department, so you get a licensed contractor, and go over that with the building inspectors? Is that what you're asking?
No, I have a licensed contractor that you're already familiar with. I'm just asking if myself and the contractor can meet with you guys prior to the next meeting instead of waiting and hold on the 30 days.
We don't meet any sooner than 30 days.
I think he's referencing the building department.
Yeah, so how would that work?
We don't take any, I mean, you guys don't take any part in that, that would just be up to Tony.
Right, it would just be putting myself in the contractor.
Yeah, but still, they're not gonna be able to do anything until we give them the direction that that's okay.
We can get all that
That's
stuff
meeting need to happen in order for that direction to happen.
in the background done. I mean, if he wants to hire a contractor, finish out the demo, and get a rebuild plan together, then that can be presented to you guys. And, I mean, it's gonna take a little time for him to make that happen.
Is his demo permit active
Oh,
now?
it's way expired.
Okay, so he'd have to get a licensed contractor there to give you a detailed plan, pull a demo permit, and you can demo what you need to demo, but that's about all that can be done before the next meeting.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's only 30 days, that's a lot of stuff in 30 days.
Well, he can demo it, and he can get a look at it and get a plan together. And I think it's gonna, I mean, in my opinion, it's gonna take that amount of time. That's just my opinion.
So do you think
Take that amount of time
this-
to put that together.
Tony, do you think then that if he were to get a demo permit, we would do the same thing just before the 21st, have it expire? And
That's up to you guys. If you know, the amount of time you give him, that one's up to you. If he's confident that he can make that happen, then I would go with his assumption or his word on that.
All right, Mr. Martin, do you want me to say that one more time?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure, so what we're saying is that, well, I'll make a motion, but my plan is to allow a 30-day demo permit that would expire on 8/20. So in this next 30 days, you can apply for your demo permit, receive it, demo what needs to be demoed in there, and get a licensed general contractor there to do a rebuild plan. And by that time, report back to our 8/21 meeting, and at that point, we could give you a building permit should that make sense then.
Okay.
So I will take that as your motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for a 30-day demo permit to expire on 8/20.
One second. Tony, can we send him these pictures?
Sure.
I mean, Mr. Martin, there's a number of pictures that our building inspectors took that I'd like you to see. I'm not saying this is all the issues, but at least it outlines kind of what they're looking at when they go in there. Would that be helpful to you?
Sure, thank you.
Sure, Cheryl, is that something you can send to him? Do we have his email?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 7, 7308 West 138th Place, Herrera, formerly Parrot. We do not have anybody online, do we, Cheryl?
No.
We did receive a email from the current owner. I believe I shared it with everyone.
Yeah, have we heard from her since then?
Not since this email. I know that she was gonna relist it again, with all the, I guess harassment that she's been getting, from adjacent property owners.
It was listed during the last meeting.
She relisted it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it was,
Yeah.
you're right. I know, now I remember.
Yeah, you told me how much,
Yeah, okay, so we're in the same position with this one now that it's for sale.
Yeah.
Did we order
Luigi or-
title on it last time?
Yeah, we have everything ready.
Yep.
Order's ready.
So, in my opinion, we need to go ahead and do what we did with the other,
With, cake neaters,
and do an order for demo.
enter the order of demo, yes.
All right, I'm ready for a motion.
You ready?
I'll make a motion to enter the order for demo on 7308 West 138th Place.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item number 8, 14714 Dewey Street, Urban James Linden.
Urban James Linden, 14714 Dewey Street. Tony, where are we here?
Well, we had our site inspection with Mr. Linden, and we pretty much came to agreement on things that should be at least started to improve the exterior of the house and its appearance, and also to begin decluttering the inside so that it could be, whatever repairs need to be done there can be done as well. So I guess, I had him take a picture of the inspection report that I did so that he's got a scope of work that would jive with kind of what we were looking at. So, that's a great start to get it going. It would just be up to you guys, I guess, to see if it meets your approval and what kind of terms.
Can we see the copy that you just showed Tony real quick?
I took a picture.
I just wanted to, I didn't have my notes from the last time, yeah.
So, I read over your shoulder. Yeah, thank you. So Tony, your suggestion is to issue a building permit to cover what needs to be done there
Right.
on that list?
Right.
And only that stuff for now?
For now, to get started with, yeah, at least the exterior appearance. I don't know the livability of the inside. He popped the door open and there's quite a bit of contents in there. And I think that's gonna be a subject for another day.
Have you started to clear out some clutter?
No, I really haven't been able to do that. Instead, I decided to play with weeds, which was a bad mistake. I found poison weeds.
Oh, yeah,
And that kind of set me back a bit.
yeah. So, is he gonna be able to do the repairs without making space in there? Or is it exterior
for the most
stuff that you're
part.
saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like it's jam-packed, there's quite a bit of stuff in there.
What kind of time frame are you thinking would be?
It's more honestly how he feels, how long he feels it'll take him to do the repairs.
Are you doing the work yourself, sir?
Yes.
What kind of time frame are you proposing for, if we issue a building permit to cover the things on that list, what kind of time frame do you need?
Well, considering the time, could I have a couple of months, at least 2 months? That mean I wouldn't have to come to the next one of these meetings? I get to miss some of these?
I would say no.
I don't
less
get to
than-
miss them, so I like you here too.
What did you say,
I
Tony?
would say no less than 90 days. He's got a lot of work to do. If he
There's
gets,
a lot.
if he gets going on it, he can get quite a bit done, and I don't think much is gonna happen in less time than that. I told him we can go out there if he wants to do a wall at a time, a window at a time, whatever. He can call us out there and stop by and make sure what's going on is okay, and that's fine.
So that would take us to 10/16 would be 3 months-ish.
Okay.
What do I have to do to get a permit?
Well, you'll have to come back in to the building department and apply for that, but what we're doing tonight is,
During the week.
what's that?
During the week, during regular office hours?
Yeah.
Stop over there?
So what we're doing today is allowing them to issue you the permit.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to, instruct the building department to issue Mr. Linden a building permit to cover what's on that list that he just showed us, to expire on 10/15. So you'd have to be back here for the October 16th meeting.
Okay, that's great.
That's my motion.
I get a, what assurances do we have that you're gonna start working on these things? I mean, it's been several months that you bypassed.
You guys keep telling me,
Getting a hold of
no, I
Tony?
can't do anything, so.
Well, we've
I'm
never
trying to follow
issued
your rules, and you
we've
keep
never
telling me,
given the
no,
directions
you
to
can't
the
touch it.
department to issue the permit yet,
Okay.
because there was no clear scope of
All
work.
right, I'm sorry. I'll second that motion.
Good question, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second, to instruct the building department to issue the permit, that would expire on 10/15, and for Mr. Linden to, reappear on the 10/16 meeting. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sensauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
What a day.
All right, thank you, Mr. Linden. All right. Moving on to item number 9, 8705 West 132nd Place, Kubiak Properties Incorporated.
You guys see me?
Yes.
Robert Kubiak, 2525 Waymaker Way, Austin, Texas.
All right, after the last meeting, I believe you said that you had a prospective buyer for this. Any word on that?
Yeah, you know what, I gave him until 1 o'clock today to give me what I needed. Been telling me to buy it, so I basically, he is not. So I applied for a building permit today around 4 o'clock. And I was gonna tear it down, but I guess if we do that, you can't rebuild where the house is. So we are just gonna rebuild exactly where the house is.
So you're repairing instead of demoing?
Yes. Rebuilding it.
Rebuilding.
Existing footprint or existing foundation, what did you guys want to do there?
Existing foundation. I think that's very simple. I think you guys have that before.
I do, and it's got a floor plan in there, but it's not specific as far as whether the foundation's staying or not, which I guess is, as long as it's viable, it doesn't make a difference to me, I'm just curious.
Yeah, Tim said the foundation is good. I don't know if we need to make any repairs to it, but he wanted to keep the foundation and then make the underneath a crawl space.
Okay.
And what's your time frame on that? When are you planning on starting, and what's your proposed time frame?
Well, I guess as soon as we get the permit, we'll start working.
And how long do you think that's going to take to get done?
I have no idea. Less than a year.
I can give them a regular rebuild permit, I mean, if they're gonna demo it down to the foundation,
He didn't say
Typically
that.
a year then?
He didn't say it was going to be demoed at the foundation. He said does he need a demo permit for that then?
We said demo down to the foundation.
we would just edit the permit to include the demo and then continue with the remodel. If it's a remodel, it's a rebuild?
We need to get into it, so I don't want to say we're going to rip the whole thing down, we don't need to, you know what I mean? As soon as we start working on it, we'll know. I mean, you guys will be inspecting it, and it'll be done correctly.
And Tony, if that would be typically a year on those rebuild permits?
Right. That's what you get. But again, that's up to you guys.
Well, what happens if we issue for a year and
I-
then 364 days goes by and nothing happens with the house?
I agree. I was just asking for a typical term on a rebuilding permit.
I'm fine with issuing a year-long permit, but I'm not fine with no communication between now and then.
Right. Well, I mean,
Nothing gets done, you have inspectors, right? They come to you and tell you that nothing's getting done, you contact us.
I don't understand what you're saying. No, if you're issued a year permit, you think
I applied for
there's...
a building permit to redo the house. So we are gonna rebuild the house. I need to get the building permit, and then we'll start construction.
Well, would you?
I'll issue you a building permit, no problem. My problem's not with the building permit, it's with the demo permit. No one wants to look at the house anymore. My question is, when's the house gonna either come down or be presentable from the outside?
I would guess in months.
So can we do this for 6 months? And then get an idea of what, I mean, because if there's no progress or whatever you're thinking,
With dumping us in the middle of January.
I know.
In the past, when they've done a short term to see if something was going to happen, then just extend it afterward, that was, that's a possibility too, if you want to do 60-day or 30-day or whatever, and then at the end of that term, at the next meeting or 2 meetings from now, if there's been activity, then awesome, extend it out.
I would think 60 days, thinking on them doing partial tear down, see what is savable, what is not, to get an idea on where the rebuilding process is gonna go from there.
Agreed.
Sounds good.
Does that make sense, Tony? Sure. You good with that?
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion to direct the town to issue a 60-day demo/building, depending on what they need to do, permit. And I guess that'd be a 60-day deferral then for this item, correct?
That would be correct.
I'll second.
Does that make sense, Mr. Kubiak?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I have a motion and a second to instruct the building department to issue a 60-day demo and rebuild permit and a repair. That would be September 18th meeting. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Cesar?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Okay, moving on to item number 10, 12611 Klein Avenue, Kubiak Properties Incorporated. Again, Mr. Kubiak?
You need the address again?
Yes, please.
Robert Kubiak, 2525 Waymaker Way, Austin, Texas.
Okay, after the last meeting, I believe you stated that you were going to get some lighting run out to the building, and clean up the front. I did get a message late today that I have not shared with the rest of the board yet, that your brother did mention that somebody will be there, I believe, tomorrow, to take care of the fence in the front. I know when I went by the other day, he did do some mowing around there, to get the fence taken care of a little easier instead of through all the weeds and stuff. Once the metal is gone, I believe the columns are gonna be taken down then. So where are we at right now with the plans for the lighting up the back and stuff like that?
I think we just got approval, like a couple days ago, from the power company to use the overhead line. So they granted us, the authority to use with existing, so now we have to work with them to get power in place. So right now it's a NIPSCO, as soon as we can get them out there to do what they need to do. I don't know how fast they move.
Yeah, at their pace.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of that.
But there are overhead power lines that make it almost all the way to the building, so it should be very doable. We don't have to redig or trench or anything. And then we're getting a quote on the power gate, a new gate. And like you said, they're gonna start taking up grass, and start taking all the steel out there. And we're gonna cut the grass along with them, and we already did do that. But the north end, we're gonna start there and take all that metal out, and then those posts are pretty easy, I guess. We're just gonna push them down and take them away.
Yeah, and Tim did inform me this afternoon that he may try to orchestrate with the person that is hauling the fence material out to be there on the same day, to have a dumpster there in it as well, to get the rest of it cleaned up at the same time.
Okay, so you know more than I do.
So, knowing with NIPSCO, are you...
60 days.
60? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Sounds good.
All right, I'd like to make a motion for a 60-day deferral, to come back on 9/18 with an update.
Okay. Thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
Oh, hold on one second, can I get a second?
1 second.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for a 60-day deferral, for Mr. Kubiak to, appear again at the 9/18 meeting. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sussauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Moving on to item number 11, 7512 West 128th Lane, Ristivsky.
He picked up his permit
Okay,
for demo.
you did mention that to me the other day, I believe. It's got all these extra ones in there. 17512.
Permit for demo.
So how long was the permit for, Tony, do you remember?
We either did 60 or 90, I don't remember. Look at
Remember.
the prior, and it would have been, shoot, it was almost a month ago that it was, you guys made that order, so. Questions?
Yeah.
He's probably just about a month into it, so roughly 60 left probably.
Okay, so then he'll need to still reappear after that?
Not if he demos it, I mean, if he demos it and it's gone, then it's gone.
Then we're good, so you'll keep us posted on that, whether...
Yep.
So I would say then we should probably move this to at least update item then?
I'd say so.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move 7512 West 128th Lane to an update item.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move this 7512 West 128th Lane to an update item. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sussauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to update items, 13713 Parish Avenue, Diamond Peak Homes. I know I have not had any discussion since then, had a lot of stuff going on lately. I don't know, Tony, have we had any communication with the building department?
No.
Kind of just in limbo with that?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he was gonna communicate if something happened, so
Yeah,
for now it sits.
yeah, for now it's. So remain on update?
Yeah.
Okay, 1437 Bryant Street, Bryant Street Trust. We have an update on that at all, Tony, or?
He was working on plans for his, rebuilding his, additions he wants to do. Eddie and I did go through there with him for a site inspection, and he had it completely gutted entirely. So he's moving on along with remodeling it, basically, so.
Does this need to stay on our list?
I don't believe so, unless you want to let it linger on the update items in case it doesn't go anywhere, in case he...
Is it
he goes
still
full.
considered unsafe?
I guess with the garage being gone, and it's just a matter of being unsightly at this point. It's definitely not livable because it's demoed, but it's a construction project at this point, or remodel project, I guess you'd call it, so. I don't know, if you're comfortable taking it off the list, I feel that, I mean, he had plans with him when we went to do the site, and he's not, you know, he didn't just say, I might do this, I might do that, he had plans already drawn for it, so he's to spend that time and that money. I'm confident that he's actually going to follow through with it, but if something happens, I guess something happens.
What do you think?
Yeah, I could see either way, to either just leave it as update, but I feel confident with Tony's, beliefs that he is going to proceed, and we can remove it, and then if need be, if, you know, his permits for how long anyway, Tony? Probably,
I mean, the demo's done.
demo's done.
So, yeah, it's just a matter of him deciding, I believe he's waiting on a survey because he wants to do some additions, so he'll have to know exactly what he's got to work with, the setbacks. So that's, from what I've been hearing, that's it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, I'm fine with just removing it.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah, make a motion, just to be clear.
Because you're keeping an eye on him now with the building.
Right.
with the
Yeah.
inspection. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it.
The 147, excuse me, I'll make a motion for 14737 Bryan Street to be, removed from our update items.
Second. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer and a second by Mr. Beal to remove this, from our list. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to 14523 Bryan Street, Cox.
From him.
What's that?
Haven't heard from him.
Yeah,
That porch was removed, right?
Porch was removed, but it looks like it's gonna need some rails and balusters to be safe, to be legal.
Can we touch
Reach out.
base with him?
Yeah, definitely.
I say this stays on update for sure. Tony can go out there and, try to touch base with them. Cause they were made aware that after that was down, they were supposed to come back in for another inspection, which they have not. So maybe a little reminder, Tony? Okay, item number 4 on date 12901 Hilltop. We've all received, here that, the bills were finalized for this demo and, sent out today. Number 5, 6599 Fernwood.
Hold on one second, I'm sorry, can we remove that now, that the lien's been placed?
Well,
There's no lien, Heather. This is just the initial bill was sent.
Yeah.
They have to pay it within 15 days. If they don't, then we'd proceed with the lien.
Do you feel like this needs to be on the agenda then?
well, I think as far as updates, since this is still an ongoing, since the bills were just issued today, would that be correct?
Yeah, I mean, we've traditionally, at least in the past, they've kept items that we're attempting to collect on just for brief updates. Like, it might just be nothing new to report. But, you know, for this and the others, there'll be some activities that occur in the next, 30 to 90 days, basically, which is, they don't pay the bill, we file the sworn statements, I either respond or they don't, we get the judgment, and then once that's done, then it just...
I would think if they were to come in, like, let's say Mr. Lomberger came in within these next 30 days and paid, then at the next meeting, of course, we would remove it.
Okay,
You good with that?
Sure, yeah.
And that's gonna be also for item 7 and 8, would be my recommendation. as we-
5 and 6.
No, 7 and 8, because 135, 135th, Ward, and then the 139th Place Land Bank, those are the same similar ones that were sent out today as well. So moving on to 5 and 6, those are still on the active, to tear down. I believe those orders were to expire in October.
Yeah, it sounds right.
So, this was just a priority list on which ones were gonna go first, and that was the Lomberger, the Ward, and the Land Bank Trust. These other two are gonna require, a little bit more, dumpsters for the size of the houses and the amount of the debris. That's why those 3 were chosen before the 2 Morgans. And then, let's see, 127th, we are still working on that. Tim, did reach out to the adjacent, property owner to the south. He did talk to me about it yesterday briefly. That one's gonna still need to be on update. And then the Edison, another one with the town, that's a whole, logistics, getting to that structure. And like I mentioned in the past, there were some plans to possibly do something, use that as park ground in the future since it is the town parcel. But nevertheless, it's challenging to get to. So,
I have 2 questions before you.
yeah,
You ready for me?
I am ready.
What happened to Mr. Frick? I thought Mr. Frick was due back.
I thought he was on a deferral.
I thought it was 60 days though, which would have taken us to today.
Okay, I was thinking next week, or next month, my bad.
Next month, for him.
90
Next
days?
month.
60, next month. He was here last month.
No, he wasn't. Frick. He's not here last month.
Huh?
Yeah, Tom Frick, he was,
Last month?
No.
He's got a permit, you guys issued him a 60-day demo permit.
but that was,
Call it the expiration date.
when did that expire then? I guess that's the question, because I'm thinking it was, I still thought we had another month.
I don't think so. I can look back at the agenda.
I don't see him on the agenda for last month. I do see him on the
That's next
May
month.
agenda, where he had asked for 60 days.
Which would mean he's done.
Yes. Okay. I will take responsibility on that one. I was assuming that it was a month from now. So we will want to see him next month. How did that change anything with the permit then?
What expired?
Expired.
It would have expired. Can you, maybe do a check on that, Tony, and see where we're at with it and get back with me and then we can, we're gonna wanna see him here next month. I got my dates mixed up on that one.
When I looked at the agenda too, I didn't think about it until today. So, it's not demoed. My trusty audience is shaking their head no. So, now he's just kind of bought himself another 30 days. So, if he were to come in, or if you do go talk to him, and by the grace of God, he does want to go ahead and demo it, can we extend that permit until the next meeting? It doesn't do any harm at this point.
Right, I would agree.
I would hate for him to come in 2 weeks and say, I couldn't demo it because my thing was expired.
Yeah.
I'd like to take that excuse off of the plate.
That makes sense to you, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just extend that to 8/20.
That would have to be in a motion then, even though it's not on here, or how would we?
Yeah, you'd want to amend the agenda to add it and then make that motion, just to be clear.
So we'll need a motion to amend the agenda first?
Yeah, I don't have his address in front of me.
That would be, 14616 Dewey Street.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add 14616 Dewey Street, owner Frick, to the agenda regarding an extension for this demo permit.
Okay, we have a motion to amend the agenda. Can I get a second?
Second.
To expire.
Roll call. Well, this is just to amend the agenda first, Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sensauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. All right. So now would you like to make the motion?
And then I'll make a motion to extend to ask the building department to reach out to Mr. Frick, and then to extend his demo permit to 8/20 for 14616 Dewey Street.
I'll second.
And request that he be here next month?
Correct.
Good with that?
I'll second, yes.
All right, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sensauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
That was a 14616 property,
That
correct?
14616 Dewey Street?
Yes.
Correct. All right, anything else to add?
Yeah, I have one more, since we have just a little bit of time. So as we're getting through, great job, by the way, on working on the ordinance, and the town council, thank you for that. Secondly, as we're getting through these, and actually I feel making some sort of progress on some of these, getting the agenda down a little bit, what is the plan on adding new properties when it comes time?
Tony has a list, and I think I've mentioned in the past, stuff that was concerned, that has not made it on the agenda. If it was, we'd be here for a week. I believe it was roughly a page and a half, Tony.
Something like that.
And I've expressed concern in the past on some of these reports being from, 2 years old.
Sure.
That moving forward, I'd really like to see a possible, if Tony could look at that list, and see if some of them are still a concern. How do we want to handle it as a board moving forward? I like the process that was, with the dilapidated garage on 142nd, where we issued a letter that it would be on unsafe, but then they corrected the issue. We did not have to send anything out to them. They did not have to appear. I like that process. I've discussed this with council before. This is not something that I personally want to see where, you know, somebody has a complaint on a house, let's just say, you know, unsafe condition, that Tony looks at it and does his report and then starts the process for them to appear at the meeting. I would like to handle it the same way we did the other one, where Tony would look at it, say yes, we as a council then direct, you know, that whoever would send out a letter, how we did with that garage, or hey, this needs to be corrected, come and get a, you know, a permit to correct the condition, and then if it does not, then we proceed with bringing them to the board.
So do you think, I agree, I like that. So do you think it'd be wise to say, Tony, since you have nothing better to do at this point, if you could look at that list and say, hey, here's, driving by, I'm sure you kind of have maybe your own little list, and say, here's 10 that concern me, and we can issue that letter to these people at this point? Or do we need to do a report before a letter is issued?
Well, I think there's a distinguishing circumstance between sort of what Rich is talking about and what happened with the garage. Unless I'm mistaken, the garage situation was one in which its collapse appeared to be imminent, and the board had declared that to be an emergency.
Correct.
So what we did is we penned a letter to the property owner that said, you have, whatever it was, 15 days to demo it, or we're going to knock it down because it's been declared an emergency, because it could fall in on someone. Most of these properties probably aren't going to meet the emergency threshold.
Right.
So, you know, there could be letter notifications, it just wouldn't be the same. Right? I mean, it could be sort of in the form of, I guess in some way, shape, or form, it can be like a warning from a police officer from code enforcement, right? It's, hey, your property is coming up on the list. This is your notice that there's some issues with it you need to take care of. And that's, I mean, something can be put together, just standard form that, you know, Tony or whomever can sign off on and just shoot them out to, you know, those 10 properties or 5 properties or something, and see if you catch something.
Well, because I think ultimately those properties should be getting fined as well.
And that, again, that would all sort of dovetail into the, just a couple of responsibilities that Tony has. Not many.
And I'm not,
We can have a procedure.
I'm not saying that we need to add 10 like next month, but I feel like we're getting to the point where 3 months from now, we're gonna want to start adding them. So I'd rather figure out our procedure now.
Yes.
So that way we can get it started, so in 3 months we can say, all right, 1, 2, and 4, they're
The
on the
ultimate
list.
goal is that there are none on the list.
Right.
And that people
That's it.
want to fix their property. That'd be
Right.
great. But to have a procedure in place where, you know, we have a letter, a template or form, however you'd like to say it, and you guys decide on a term of time, or like you mentioned, the fine. You know, if something is decided on that, and we just kind of start rolling it out.
Can we meet on this in the next couple of weeks? Think about it a little bit and then meet on it
I am good with that.
and get something moving for it?
Hey, Ryan, would we have to post like you would, like any type of special meeting then? I would say whatever the requirements are for that.
Yeah, if all 3 of you are going to meet, you make it a work session or something.
Are you good with the work session on
Yeah.
that for discussion? And in that way, you know, Tony is being the inspector. I try to attend as many of the building department meetings as I can, knowing what they have going on and stuff like that as well. You know, Tony and myself can also relay messages back to them and the other inspectors, and which, another one is here also. So, sound good?
Yeah,
So do you want to just set that date now to where we can start that process, or?
Sure. So does it need to be like at night, or can it be during the day, or what are we thinking here?
It's up to your guys' schedule. I just need to look at my calendar when we pick the date.
I'll be out of town next week, 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
All right, how about that next week, the week of the 29th?
I should be available, I have nothing on yet.
If I've gotta be there, I won't be on the 29th. I'm gone, I'm out of town from the 26th through 2nd.
Okay, so how about that following week then? Week of the 5th?
The 5th? That week?
Yes, I'm available.
Okay. You guys just pick a day or time.
Yeah, preferably before school starts, right?
Right.
Yeah, can we just say Monday?
Sure.
5th?
Monday the 5th?
What time?
You guys tell me. I can make myself available.
Can we do a day? Like during the day?
Yes.
Time's good for you, Tony.
That's what's happening that day. It doesn't really matter.
Is morning better?
Usually, yeah.
Okay, so 8, 9, when
Yeah,
do
either
you
one.
start?
Either one. I'm here before 8.
8 o'clock?
Sure.
Are you just trying to get as much time until 7?
Yeah, I'm due 10 o'clock. We have like 9 minutes. Let's get it going here.
Sorry.
What's that? August 5th?
August 5th, 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8 a.m., holy s-
Oh, we should have asked when you wake up, I'm sorry, the only retired one here.
Yeah.
And
Is
that's
that
all
good for you, or do you have?
That's fine, that's
Okay, all right, thank you. So Cheryl, if we can get that, posted, that we'll have a work session Monday, August 5th at 8 a.m. All right, moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment for unsafe building?
Hi, my name is Donna Corey, 14605 Bryan Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. I just want to thank you again for all your hard work. Thank you, Tony. Once again, a lot of the houses that are on the unsafe list is at the Shore, or South Shore, excuse me.
South Shore subdivision?
Thank you, yes. Mr. Linden does not live with those residents, and I feel like sometimes like what he could get done without any permit, not done at all. Same with Mr. Frick, he doesn't live in that residence, so he doesn't really care what's happening on the situation. Thank you for my neighbors, the Cox, they have never mowed their lawn more than 15 years that they've lived next to me. However, I do appreciate it, you just keep checking up on them. The code enforcement officer, I would think would come along a little bit more. I don't know, do I call the police?
That would get her out there, I imagine, asking stronger her attention. I don't know if does she patrol, or does she just go to what is called on?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just call Donna, call the police department.
I will, but yes, thank you very much for all the hard work, because really, that Cox's resident has been better than the person did. 18 years ago. That's all.
They're saying there's progress.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, you guys are doing great, that's what I'm saying, that looks really good to see that.
Thanks, Donna.
All right, do we have any more public comment for unsafe building department? Last call? All right, this meeting is